with Broward. Yeah, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So, and my business is Ilaram Creative Solutions.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to a series that we're starting late in the year, but it's kind of akin to something that we've done in the past with our Get Listed series, where we made sure our businesses were getting certified with some of the major government agencies here in Broward County. And we're starting and kicking off this Doing Business with cities, because just as our larger agencies are important, so too are our cities. They spend a lot of money, and so it's extremely important that we understand what we're missing out on if we're not contracting and looking into doing business with some of our cities here in Broward County. My name is Shahiwa Jarrett-Gellin. I'm the founder and president of the Broward County Black Chamber of Commerce, and we're extremely happy to bring you this programming here tonight, and I'm very happy to see all of your faces here. You're going to be in for a treat. The first in our series is Doing Business with Pompano Beach, and we have a special guest tonight here to speak with us. Her name is Carla Bird. She is the director for general services with the City of Pompano Beach, but worked previously with Broward County government. So she brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to this position. And I'm just so very happy that she's able to join us tonight and talk to us a little bit about doing business with the city, how much they spend, what they're spending on those goods and services that they're looking for, how you can register as a vendor with the city, and then all of the other good stuff that she'll share with you this evening. I want to say welcome, Carla. And before you start in your with your presentation, and I'll go ahead and just click so you'll have access to share. Can you just give us a little bit about your background before you get into your presentation?
Sure, I'd be delighted. And first of all, I must express my appreciation to you, Attorney Shahiwa, for this opportunity. You know, it's definitely a vision, and it's a good vision to have, because here again, businesses exist to, you know, maximize their profits and to provide goods and services that are needed. And, you know, green is green. So, you know, wherever there's quality service or quality products, you know, it doesn't matter what the color is on the quality. So I appreciate you extending this invitation to me. I'm delighted that you actually started this series close to our fiscal year, because we begin our fiscal year October 1st. So kudos to you. You know, this is right on time. My background, I've been in governmental procurement for approximately 20 years. Prior to serving in public procurement for 20 years, I finished my master's is in finance, and then my Juris Doctorate of Law, and I was working in Missouri, if you will, with the Department of Revenue as a tax attorney there, and kind of dabbled in some other things, and then was introduced to the wonderful world of governmental procurement, and have enjoyed it. Served on the local levels, municipalities. I first started in the city of Macon, Georgia.
Oh,
yes. I don't know if anybody knows about Macon, Georgia. And then from there, I accepted a position. I actually started at the bottom, from bottom up. So, you know, I've pretty much been there, done it all. And then was fortunate enough to accept extended opportunity in Charleston, South Carolina. And then from Charleston, South Carolina, came back to Georgia. The city manager wanted me to come there and assist with developing their MWBE program, if you will.
oh, nice.
Because it had gone dormant. And so she wanted a viable a program that was developed, and we would have various conferences and things. And I look forward to doing those kind of events for the city of Pompano Beach. So, you know, I appreciate that, Robert.
Absolutely.
Saying you were ready, willing, and able to serve us.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, and then from there, I came back to Georgia. I served as the director for the state of Georgia's procurement and contracts. For the
Okay.
Division of Family and Children's Services, as well as the aging population. My parents, because I actually grew up here in South Florida, Sunrise to be exact, and actually went to school in Miami.
Nice.
And but so came back home because my parents had gotten older, and so sometimes you got to make certain decisions,
Exactly.
and it makes you step back and assess your priorities and what's
Okay.
important to you. So I am delighted to be back home. I'm delighted to be able to be serving home. And here again, anything, any information that I can provide to you, by all means, we're here to assist, here to serve. As your president, because I got to definitely say kudos to you for this vision. Provided your president some information, just want to make sure, and she'll provide that to you, because I just gave that to her. It's pretty much hot off the press, but wanted to cordially invite and make sure everyone considers about going to the National Institute of Governmental Procurement, Southeast Florida, reverse trade show, where there will be different governmental entities, local governmental entities from South Florida, Southeast Florida. And so we'll all be there in the same room. And, here again, we can't, as the government, do everything. And so that's why we need your expertise. So, just like our faces differ here, our experiences differ, there will be different municipalities that will be present from the Southeast Florida. And that's going to be November 17th. There is, of course, registrations and different things of that nature as it relates to the logistics. Gail Dixon, I have not had the privilege of meeting her, but my understanding is she's the point of contact. So if you have any questions after our president sends that information to you, then please feel free to call her. Her number, and I'm gonna just give that to you. And I hope you don't mind me, Shawil, taking time to just provide this information. But
no, it's no problem.
And I'll just cut mine short, and I'll give you all my phone number. So if you have any further questions, by all means, ask. But Gail Dixon is the point of contact for the reverse trade show that will be November 17th, 2022 at Coral Springs, Florida. Okay. And there will be different governmental entities there. So, just stop by, let us know, what goods and services that you provide, because there may be some needs there.
Yeah. And I'll be sure to include that. I'll see if I can put that up towards the end when people are kind of asking questions. I'll put up the flyer, but then I'll also send it to all the attendees.
Okay.
I don't know if you had a presentation you want to pop on. I can stop sharing.
Okay. Yes. If you want to go ahead and start sharing it, or do you want me to share?
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So
if you
bear with me, I'm not as technologically savvy as our host.
Well, let me see.
But we're going to do the best we can. But at any rate,
I see it.
The phone number, and just let me know, what you can see and if you can see. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
And am I sharing my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, I prefer things interactive. You all got to guide me to success because it's a partnership here. Okay, so if you want to get in touch with Gail Dixon, her number for the reverse trade show is 954-344-1104. I had some other suppliers, contractors, and vendors ask about, had various questions. So, to cut out Carla Renee Bird, the middle person, just want to make sure we get you to the source. Okay. So I'm going to keep this simple. And, I appreciate our president guiding me as to the information that was pertinent and critical. The General Services Department has 4 different divisions. And of course, those are up there for you. The one that we're going to be focusing on this evening more so is the purchasing division. Okay. How to go, where to go, those sort of things to make sure that you're registered to do business with us. So you'll get the automatic emails when your area of expertise is being solicited, okay? There's also a contact list that our president will be providing to you of all of the contacts for the different departments. And you'll understand why that's important. So she'll have that information to you, for you. She'll also have the electronic vendor registration instructions. So you know how to be set up in our system for payment, as well as the electronic bidder registration instructions. So in two things, in order to be a bidder, you have to be registered in Ion Way. We're going to walk through that together step by step, so don't worry. So in order to receive the solicitations, or when our needs arise for over 75,000, anything below 75,000, we get 3 quotes, okay? Anything over 75,000, make sure that you're registered in Ion Way. And we're going to go through all of those. First of all, I have to ask it because I am representing Pompano Beach. Do I have any vendors or experts that reside in Pompano Beach? Okay, well, if not, Broward County, any in Broward County?
Yes.
Okay, good deal, good deal. And of course, just like any other municipality, we have, a local preference policy. And we're going to go through that as well, where, if you're a City of Pompano Beach business, there's a preference, then that's a tier 1, and then a tier 2, if you're Broward County. So we're going to go through that together.
Yeah, everyone
I
on
like
here,
to keep it simple.
Carl, from Broward, Carl.
I'm sorry, what now?
Everyone on here is from Broward, and you got a couple folks from Pompano Beach in the chat saying, yeah.
All right, yay. Hey, President, keep me honest and focused. So, I want to make sure I give shout outs to those that are from Pompano, and those that are from Broward County as well. Those that are from Pompano, I want to make sure, and I'm going to have my email address at the end. So I want to make sure that you shoot me an email, so at least I know who you are, and we can make sure we reach out to everybody. Here again, I'm a public servant. Leadership is service. So I'm here to serve. Okay. So we're going to keep this simple. Pompano Beach, we have about over $70 million, $70 million budget. Okay. And we have different funds for different projects. We have our general fund, we have our capital projects that deal with various construction projects, trades, and things of that nature. I wasn't sure who was going to be on, so just wanted to kind of, cover the various areas. So we have about a $70 million budget, over that, a little bit over that. Our population is over 100,000. Here on your screen, there are the different departments. You have the purchasing division, central stores division, graphics, and mailroom. We're going to focus pretty much on the purchasing division. Jeff and Tammy serve as purchasing agents. Any of the procurements that exceed 75,000, which we use a third-party electronic system, they handle those. The responsibilities for the general services department is to make sure that we have a centralized procurement process. So all of the purchases come through the purchasing department, as well as our internal services that we provide to the various departments, okay? Now, as we've mentioned, because I like to keep it simple, who, what, when, where, why, and how, okay? So you know who we are. General Services Department comprised of 4 different divisions. Purchasing division, we're gonna focus on primarily here, okay? Because the bottom line is you all have services, you have goods that we need. We need your expertise. So we're focusing on the purchasing division. So anything that's greater than 75,000, that goes through our formal procurement process, which is competitively solicited and is approved by our city commission, okay? Anything that you need to find is on our website. As a governmental entity, we have a fiduciary duty to our taxpayers, all taxpayers, to make sure that we're open and transparent. So that's why if you want to go to our city website, all of this information is there. So I encourage you to take time and browse through it. So anything that's over 75,000 goes through our formal competitive procurement process, which you probably heard the terms, the request for proposals, which is more so committee-based procurements. Therefore, you go through an evaluation criteria, or the invitations for bids or invitations to bid, which deal with price, the lowest price. So if you have satisfied all of the requirements with your submission, and I encourage everyone, anytime you're responding to a formal procurement, please make sure that you read all of the instructions that are included in the four corners of the document. Okay, because we need your goods, we need your services. We don't want you to be deemed non-responsive because you didn't check all the boxes. Okay, so please make sure details are critical. Details are critical. So anything that's over 75,000, we go through a competitive procurement process, which we use a third-party electronic system, which is Ion Wave. Okay, anything less than 75,000, we obtain quotes. Depending upon the delegated authority determines who approves it. 75,000 and over is approved by our city commission. Less than 75,000, 3 quotes and approved by the delegated authority. Okay, so let's dive in that and see what that looks like. Okay, so any purchases, because this is the informal procurement process. So any purchases from 0 to 20,000 that meet or satisfy our needs, typically we only need 1 quote. 1 quote is required, and that's obtained by the using department. And President, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I provided you the departmental contacts of everybody. So that way, who's ever on this session or, a part of this session has the contact information for the different departments. So our president will disseminate that to you later. So we have 0 to 20,000, 1 quote's required. Now, those of you that are from Pompano, of course, if you're the one, hey, that's it. Okay, so if we get it from Pompano, we're good to go. So 0 to 20,000, we have 1 quote, 20,000 and $1 to 50,000, we get 3 quotes. Here again, because we have a fiduciary duty to our taxpayers to make sure that we give everybody the same notice and opportunity to respond. And those 3 quotes are obtained by the using department. So they'll look at, okay, if we need, I think I heard someone say that they have a coaching and mentoring program. Then, whenever a department has a need for that area, then, they would reach out to you. And that's one of the reasons why that listing, is so important, making sure that you have that contact list that your president will be disseminating to you. Okay, so 3 quotes obtained by the using department, and that's within yours truly, my delegated authority to approve that, okay? If it's 50,001 to 74,999 and 99 cents, then it's 3 quotes are required, obtained by the using department, and that's where we have the 2-tier approval, which is yours truly with the city manager. Okay, so here again, we want to make sure that we're keeping me and everybody else honest. Our president mentioned about, well, what type of projects do we have? Here again, because I wasn't sure who was going to be on the line, this is just an example or snapshot of some of the purchases that we have for Parks and Rec, for our engineering department, which deals with construction projects. We always encourage people, to partner, to engage with each other, especially if it's a construction project. It's important for us, to work together. And so this is an example or a list of some upcoming procurements for our new fiscal year. Okay, so just wanted to kind of provide those to you. They've got the skate park, concessionaires, vending machine operations, youth sports programming, aquatic maintenance items, holiday decorations, and then some other contracts and some trades as well. But this is not everything, because here again, anything these are a list of possibly our procurements that may be over 75,000. Here again, less than 75,000, those are considered our day-to-day operations. So that's why it's so important to make sure, you get to know the various departments, so that way they can consider you for future needs that they may have, because those we may or may not see. And that handles with our day-to-day operations. Okay. So we talked about 75,000 and less deals with the informal procurement process. 75,000 and over deals with the competitive procurement process. And this is an example of those procurements that are over 75,000. As conveyed before, we use a third-party electronic system, which is called Ion Wave. So it's important that you make sure that you register to be a vendor on Ion Wave. So that way, depending upon the various codes that you select, when those needs arise, you'll get the emails automatically. So you don't even have to wait for us. If you've registered and we have that need and it's going to be competitively procured over 75,000, then, just, make sure that when you register, you select those various codes. I realize that may be time consuming, but we want to make sure that nothing is overlooked. We need your expertise. Municipalities, governmental entities, we need your expertise. Like I said, I've worked on the city level, I've worked for the counties, I've worked for states. So, here again, and we're held to a certain standard. So keep us honest. I enjoyed it when, your president sent me a request for some information, simply because that lets me know, number one, she's interested in what we're doing. And number two, she has the expertise and skill set. And so, tell us that you're out there. Sometimes we don't know you're out there until we have that partnership or that introduction. So that's why kudos to you for having this series. So you go to Ion Wave. Now we're going to go and kind of navigate through the City of Pompano Beach's website. Okay. So towards the middle section of the PowerPoint presentation, simply type in City of Pompano Beach or City of Pompano Beach, Florida. Once you type that in your Google search, then the City of Pompano Beach, our website, will populate. Okay, go ahead and select us, as you can see with the various arrows. Once you kind of navigated through the City of Pompano Beach website, then go and select General Services and Procurement. Okay, so it's under Government. Once you get to the City of Pompano Beach website, it's under Government. Then once you select Government, then you'll see the different departments. I encourage anybody, to go through and visit the different departments. Our contact information is there. What areas we cover are there. And that's just for all the different departments. But don't worry, your president has a cheat sheet for you on that. Okay, so then once you select the City of Pompano Beach, you select the Government, you also select General Services and Procurement. Then go to, now you come to the General Services and Procurement website. And this is what you'll see. This is pretty much a snapshot. So it'll show you how to do business with the City of Pompano Beach. Okay, where the arrow is showing, that's the e-bidder registration. Now, and this is you'll see e-bid. That simply means Ion Wave. Okay, no worries, because I'm going to show you the site and it's going to populate and go through that. Okay, so the e-bidder registration is found on the City of Pompano Beach General Services and Procurement Department's webpage. What you see on your screen from this PowerPoint presentation is what you're going to see and where you go. Okay, in order to register, there is the bidder registration instructions. it walks you through step by step what to do. Our president also has a copy of that, and she'll be able to disseminate that to you as well. So the bidder instructions will walk you through the eBid system login, which is the third-party electronic system that we use when we have solicitations over 75,000. Okay. Then, because it's a third-party electronic system, because we're keeping everybody honest, then you'll see this screen, which says, you're leaving the city of Pompano Beach, proceed to the site, and you go ahead and click that, select yes. Okay, so don't become alarmed when you see that little pop-up or notice. Then from there, you'll go through the bidder registration process. Okay, we have the bidder registration instructions to guide you through the process. Okay, now, two parts, because our president has the bidder registration instructions, and then we've also given our president the electronic vendor registration instructions. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between the two. eBidder deals with the solicitation piece. So when a municipality has a need, we release it through the third-party electronic system. Okay, when you have registered as a bidder, if your area of expertise is what is needed, then you will receive an automatic email, okay, to whatever email address you've inserted when you've registered. Okay, now let's say you provided the services, you provided the goods, great. Now, okay, you're in business to get paid. So then that's where the electronic vendor registration piece comes in. Okay, so we use our financial system, which is called Navalon. Okay, and as you can see on your screen where it has forms and links, because this is how the screen is going to look. Okay, so forms and links, you select the vendor application, complete the vendor application. And here again, it has a lot of different nexus codes. Okay, that's for you. But we definitely need that first page completed. Please make sure that you complete that first page of the vendor application, and then the W-9 for, when we remit payment to you for our tax purposes. So we need to make sure that we have that. Okay, this is what the vendor application looks like, which is reflected on your screen. Please make sure that you capture all of this information, include all of this information in its entirety. The City of Pompano Beach wants to make sure and know, as our president has indicated, where we spend our dollars. Okay, and so in order for us to capture this information, it's important that you complete this information. So when payment is remitted through our Navalon system, when we're generating reports, we can have that information. But when it's not completed, then our information, is inaccurate. So we want to make sure that we're capturing that information when you complete the vendor application. So once we've gone through the solicitation process or procurement process, and you provided the goods or services, and now you submit an invoice to the City of Pompano Beach, we need to make sure that we have your vendor application as well as your W-9 completed. So that way we have you in our Navalon system to make sure that the correct vendor name, the correct address, email, so that you receive the notices. Same thing applies with not just the payment, but when we issue purchase orders. Okay, so it's important to make sure that we have correct information, because if you provided the services, it's our duty to make sure that payment was remitted. Okay, and this is how the W-9 looks. Okay, so these Ion Wave is the third-party electronic system for 75,000 and over. $74,999.99, and below typically is with quotes, and the using departments provide those. And your president, our president, will have a list of the contact information, contact persons for that. Okay, because everybody's needs are different. So that's 75,000 over, 74,999.99 under the list, and then payment or PO, W-9 and vendor application. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go back. This should look familiar. This screen that you see on your screen should look familiar, because we went back just to the general services and procurement department's website. Okay. And I encourage everybody, please take time to navigate through it and call if you have any questions, or email us. Okay. So you have, now we're going to go through. We went through those screens. Now, of course, since we're using a third-party electronic system, you'll see a screen similar to what you see here, which will populate the ion wave, okay, which is the third-party electronic system. Now, I just want to let you know, here again, whatever solicitations the City of Pompano Beach has that are current, if you're not registered in ion wave, that is okay, because you can select one of these rectangles: current bids, closed bids, awarded bids, non-awarded bids, or, you know, City of Pompano Beach, which take you back to our webpage. But if you want to look at our current bids, you can select just to see what's out there. You can select that rectangle that's shown on your screen. So you don't have to have or be registered to see what we have out there. Okay. However, in order to apply and be considered for one of our needs, you have to be registered, because you will not be able to download any of the attachments or anything like that. So it's almost like a viewer, you know, just for reading only, okay, just to see what's out there. But please make sure, encourage you to register. Also, if you have any technical issues where you need assistance from Ion Wave, then you can dial the number that's showing on your screen right now, or email the email address that's showing on your screen. The technical assistance for Ion Wave is the 866-277-2645 extension 4, or the email address is support@ionwave.net. Okay. Now, we talked briefly before about the local business program, and most municipalities, they have a local preference policy. Okay, typically they do. And the City of Pompano Beach has a local policy as well. So the Tier 1 designation for Pompano Beach, the Tier 2 designation for Broward County businesses. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I shared, you know, that with you. Here again, if you have any questions about the solicitation process, registering in Ion Wave, the less than $74,999.99 with the various contacts from the departments, or, you know, how to make sure you're in our financial system to make sure that payment is remitted to you or a PO is dispatched. You know, just let us know. We are here again, we are a governmental entity, and all governmental entities have a fiduciary duty to all taxpayers. So we need to make sure that we're giving everybody the same notice and opportunity to respond. Each, as our president has mentioned, each governmental entity is different and unique with their thresholds, with possibly where their third-party electronic system. I know that some municipalities or governmental entities, they still receive them by paper. Then you have other municipalities or governmental entities that accept through electronic systems. Most of them use a third-party electronic system. Please make sure, I cannot stress enough, whatever is in the four corners of the document, please follow it. If you have any questions about a particular solicitation or procurement that's released, there is typically a Q&A process. Make sure that you ask those questions at the appropriate time. And please make sure that you submit your response in a timely, proper manner. Timely meaning by the deadline. Properly means to the appropriate location. Every governmental entity is different. So every governmental entity may use a different third-party electronic system. The City of Pompano Beach uses Ion Wave. So, if you're interested in engaging with municipalities, that might be a question, to ask them. So then that way, where you need to register for the future. Because once you're registered, in the third-party electronic system, regardless of where it is, you'll receive those contact information. We can be reached here, the purchasing division. You see our email. And here again, we have a group mailbox. And the reason we designed and developed this is to make sure that none of your questions are overlooked. So that way, anybody and everybody, we meet regularly to make sure that it isn't overlooked. So we come together to make sure that all questions are addressed. So if one particular procurement professional is out of the office, no worries. There's always someone else to assist and make sure that there's no disruption in service or lapse in time. So the email address is purchasing@COPBFL, which stands for the City of Pompano Beach, Florida.com. Our telephone number is 954-786-4098. Okay. And we are here to assist you. We wish you much success. For those of you that have been engaged in governmental contracts, be it on the federal, state, county, city, town, district, providence, whatever it is, knowledge is power. And I always tell people sometimes it's better to have a piece of the pie, and share with each other than no piece at all. So, we do have some construction projects coming up. We have, other projects as well. So, get to know each other because we're pretty much all in this together. And I'm just here to serve. So keep me honest. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Let's give it up for our president for seeing the need to have this service, and this series, because oftentimes, we want to engage in business with governmental entities, but the information has not been disseminated to us. So thank you so much for the invitation. I hope I didn't go over too far. I hope too many people weren't dozing. And thank
No,
you.
not at all. Thank you, Carla, so much. That was really informative. And we do these series, and you're absolutely correct, because every entity, every agency is different. And so it's important for us that our members understand the differences. They get a warm smile like you're giving now, and they can put a face with a name, because it's not easy as you go from agency to agency as a small business owner, trying to navigate these different portals and the information. And so this makes it a little bit more understandable and kind of allows us to do what we need to do in disseminating the information. So thank you so much. Everybody give Carla, please, a warm round of applause, virtual applause, for her spending this time with us this evening. I do want to see if we have a couple of questions in the chat before we go.
They're making me nervous. I see hands. And I'm not as high tech as your president. So y'all be gentle. Bear with me.
Let me look so I can see if I see any hands raised. I do want to note first, and I'll go to questions really quickly, guys. I did drop in the chat the supplier registration link. I did put something entitled "A Few Important Numbers from Online" for some of the individuals in the different agencies, and the bidders instructions are also there. I put the link for that, as well as a link to the vendor application. And so, Carl, I just have a quick question before we go to the other questions. I know you said that the budget is $75 million, right?
Approximately.
Approximately.
Maybe over that annually.
Annually. And so annually, how much is spent on goods and services approximately, if you know that's flowing through? If you know, I mean, if you know.
That's an excellent question. Let's see, last year, because I don't, because I know you have it recorded. So our capital projects, the expenditures overall were approximately 8 million.
Okay.
General fund, about 6.3 million, and maybe higher than that.
Okay, so general fund would include like professional type services. Is that janitorial, accounting, insurance?
Yes.
Okay.
Our day-to-day operations, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I see a
and
hand.
Then we also have our utility fund, because for some reason, I don't know this, Shahi, people like to have running water.
Imagine that. No, I got you.
So we have to make sure that, we're purchasing certain pipes and making sure that the water isn't brown and it's
contaminated. We've seen a few things on the news, unfortunately, down here, so I understand.
Yeah, so that's one of the contracts that we've been negotiating and trying to address behind the scenes.
Hey, how you doing?
Go ahead and ask your question, Mike.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead and ask your question. We can hear you.
Okay, so number one, great presentation. Number two, how do you handle when, what role do you play as a procurement director when you see, for example, one of your members of the selection committee has a score that is completely different than other people's scores? So for example, a vendor you might have 5 people on a selection committee, and the average committee member gives a score of like an 80 out of 100, and then someone just has a lowball score of like 40 out of 100. Is that person required to justify why they gave such a low score?
Excellent question, Mike. And for those that are not as experienced as Michael, is it Mike or Michael? I don't know.
However you want to call me.
My chief of staff's name is Michael. So, so right. Mike, excellent question. Can I just step back a little bit and then move forward, and you keep me focused?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So
yes,
Michael is educating all of us about the procurement process that's over 75,000. Okay. And it's for a committee-based procurement that's typically demonstrated in a request for proposals, request for qualifications, letters of interest, it depends, but primarily more so in requests for proposals, okay, where there's a criteria that's outlined in the solicitation to assist, to guide the evaluation committee. The evaluation committee is comprised of people that have a expertise in whatever is being solicited. Okay, so that's a little bit of the background. To Michael's point, or Mike's point, and correct me, Mike, whenever. You know, I don't claim to know everything. So that it happens, okay? And it happens for various reasons. You know, there may be several reasons. One person may have more information than the others dealing with the day-to-day. The individual on the committee may have a relationship, because I'm just going to keep it honest, okay? May have, you know, a relationship where that particular vendor is the incumbent, or they may have, you know, some background or experience, okay? And typically when that does take place, the evaluation committee members are to justify in writing why they evaluated the vendor with such a large delta, if you will.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that something that I can request as a vendor? So number one, I have two hats, right? I'm a vice mayor for the city of Tamarack, and I'm always questioning scores when I see them, because I'm also a small business owner that bids on government contracts, have my fair share of government contracts, only 3, but it would have been more had I not been lowballed by so many different selection committee members. So I'm not going to name the city, but most recently, bid on a benefits consulting opportunity, and the person in the department gave us a pretty good score, 89, 90. Someone else in the HR department gave us a good score, 80, 85. And then this other person gave us a 58. It's like 58, where do you get 58 from? But that wasn't challenged. It wasn't discussed on the committee. It was just like, hey, and sure enough, just as you said, the incumbent won the contract.
Yeah.
Well, if you want the incumbent to win the contract, don't have me waste my time and my money bidding on a contract when you know who you want to go with. And then it's like, for me, it's like an insult for you to say that I'm scoring a 58 on this particular category when it doesn't truly reflect the quality of my business. You just want to, and in this particular city, we got 5 points for being a local Broward County business, 5 points for being a minority-owned business, 4 points for being a Broward County business. And I feel like when those scores are already outlined and already publicized, certain selection committee members will lowball the score intentionally to overcompensate for the points that we're going to get. The preference points that commission members have approved to give companies like mine an opportunity to win a contract, they will lowball in other categories to eliminate that those preference points.
I can't speak to all the facts, but as a taxpayer, it's you have a duty. You know, I'm sorry, that's your right. Okay, that's your right. We, as the governmental entities, have a duty to be open and transparent. Okay, no, keep it on. I want to. So if you want to talk back,
there's some background noise. I'll just
okay.
Background noise.
And because we know you said you wear 3 hats, so I know you out there working. So that's fine. Continue working on. But your president here, Shahiwa, like I mentioned, she did an open records request to request information, and that's how I met Shahiwa.
Yeah.
Most governmental entities, I tell everybody, you got governmental employees, you got government workers. Okay. And, keep us honest.
Right.
We're public servants. So, everything may have been above board. There may have been a reason, but we have a duty to provide that to you. Yeah. Also, I would welcome the opportunity to, talk to you, whenever you wish. Just get the information to Shahiwa, and my door is open. It's always open. That's pretty much why I'm always here. So
I'll be happy to talk to you about several opportunities and show you the actual score sheet.
But but every municipality and governmental entity is different. But yes, hold us accountable. Seek clarity. There's nothing wrong with seeking clarity, because there may have been a justifiable reason, or there may not have been, but it's our duty to convey that to you.
Right.
And that's, part of the debriefing session, because here again, Mike, let's say that need arises in the future. Because here
Right.
again, governmental contracts are either 3 to 5 years max,
Right, right,
okay?
right.
Or
Yep,
they may be
yep.
every year, depending upon. But so with that being said, you know, you have a right. What's the freedom of information? You know, what's that process?
Right,
And
right,
submit
right.
that to seek clarity prior
Absolutely.
to the award. You know, people don't like to hear this, and I don't, you know, but prior to the award, you know, there's immediately after the award,
Mhm.
and I can't believe I'm sharing this, but
ahead.
immediately after the award, but I'm sorry, right after the recommendation,
Right.
because we have a duty to the taxpayers, we're to post that information, okay, as to who's being recommended
Mhm.
prior to the award,
Right.
okay?
Right.
So during this period, there's a period, you can request the information.
Yeah.
Because we're governmental entities, we're bound to be open and transparent. So
Right.
once the recommendation is posted, then you can submit a FOIA request, or you can actually, because make sure you review the ordinance or the laws and policies and procedures that govern
Mhm.
whatever the municipality is. And the municipality is, that's what I was saying. Y'all look at our website.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
let us be your guinea pig and check our website. You know, because the ordinance is to be there, the code and the procedures that bind us. Within that period, there's arguably an objection or protest period. I know it for Broward County. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know it for the city of Pompano. I gotta, you know, so there's that period there where it will suspend until a review has been, until there's been a review.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I hope
Thank you.
that answered your question somewhat. And if you
A
have
little
any
bit.
other questions, ask me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have the gray hair for nothing.
No, I see it. I see that as you're speaking, that experience is coming through. We had Bernadette say thank you so much. The information was greatly appreciated. A lot of different, Kimberly said the same thing. We do have another hand raised, and then we're going to go ahead and close out. I know it's been a long day. You've been at work, and I thank you for being with us this evening.
Oh,
So we'll
no,
go ahead and take Robert's
I'm here
question.
as long as
Okay.
as my taxpayers want me to be here.
Okay. I like that. Go ahead, Robert. I see your hand is up.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Well,
Robert.
it's after hours, so my camera is off. So
Oh, so you want me to turn mine off too?
no, you still at work. I'm calling in. I'm just trying to figure out how to do business for Pompano. No, joke. As a point of edification, so yes, I agree with you on the protest period. And secondly, depending on the level of the RFP within the school district, we will throw out the high and low score of a scorer as a way to eliminate a high and a low. Just as we've had some challenges in certain construction fields where we just say, hey, you know what? If there's someone trying to manipulate the system, we're just going to throw out their score. So the person that comes in and gives a supplier all hundreds, we tell them up front that you might as well not even vote it because the high score is going to be eliminated. And secondly, within that, we withhold staff scores so the committee doesn't know what the staff has scored because that's irrelevant to their review of the procedure. So those were two things that we learned over time to add into it just for edification.
Thank you, Robert. I definitely appreciate that. You know, and you know, guide us all here at the City of Pompano Beach, because staff's review doesn't, you know, we're focusing on the price, and to Robert's point, so that is not disclosed to the committee because the intent is not to skew and demonstrate any bias or unfair advantage. So thank you, Robert, for keeping me honest on that. And thank you for comparing those notes. I'm glad you're here.
Now, once again, Carla, I have to say thank you for this. I learned a lot today. I did not know you all use, because most people use, bid sync. I didn't know you all use this ion wave, a different system. So that is eye-opening. And then just understanding, which is the point of doing this series and focusing now on cities, the budget that you all have. I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of money that our local cities are spending. And that's a point of why I want to do this series, because we think of our cities as small, but South Florida is and Broward County specifically is a very important part of our nation, the region, and a very important powerhouse economically in the state. And so our 31 municipalities and cities are spending dollars. And so it's important that we understand it and understand that and not leave money on the table and get registered as vendors and get active and look for opportunities no matter where they may lie, whether it be in the general population, a larger agency, or with a city. So with that, I say thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate your time. And I know we'll reach out again. We're doing like part, virtual and live events. We used to do these live. And so maybe we'll take a field trip out there to Pompano Beach to meet you all.
Come on,
in the future.
Your president, we had talked about that. I was like, okay, where am I supposed to go? And she said, stay there.
No, we're good. You're good. So once again, I thank you again, Carla, for coming on. And I thank all of you as well for being a part of tonight's special programming. We're trying to make sure that we're providing you